Oh, hi. Today, I'll be doing my interesting review of wanting to make a review of the brand new idea. I've been wanting to do the reviewing of the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, as I told Jane Warrington that this was just an idea I've been doing this, so. As I know it's going to be interesting that I'm going to make a review of this movie, even though it's turning 30 this year, so let's not waste any damn time to focus on this movie. This movie, directed by Steven Spielberg, was produced by Kathleen Kennedy and Joan R. Mullen, and it stars Sam Neill, Lauren Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Richard Attenborough. As the plot, even though it's based on a 19th novel of that same title by Michael Crichton, the screenplay was written by David Coep, who partnered with Crichton to do it. The plot is simple. Somewhere where it all started in Costa Rica, somewhere within the island of Isla Nublar in Central America's Pacific coast, a group of 4 wealthy grown-ups, which consist of Dr. Alan Grant, Dr. Ellie Sattler, Dr. Ian Malcolm, and Dr. John Hammond, were a group of 4 scientists who have decided to stumble upon where they all started from. It all started when the grown-ups founded the colossal fossils of an extinct dinosaur in what it appears to be a dinosaur skeleton for some reason. John leads his team of genetic scientists to create an advanced wildlife park of de-extinct dinosaurs that they created. However, an industrial sabotage causes a catastrophic showdown of the power facilities of the zoo itself, causing Hammond to unleash the safety precautions of security guards. But a small group of visitors, led by Hammond's grandchildren, have struggled to survive in order to escape the perilous island. However, when Spielberg acquired the rights with his backing for Universal Studios for $1.5 million, it took an additional $500,000 budget to take it. It took like a $500,000 budget to adapt the novel. Since Coep wrote the final draft, it left out much of the novel's exposition of violence and made numerous changes to the characters. Since then, it took place between California and Hawaii from 1992 to 1993. Even though it was supervised in Spielberg and Poland while filming Schindler's List, the dinosaurs were created using groundbreaking CGI animation by Industrial Light and Magic with life-sized animatronic dinosaurs built by Stan Winston's team rather than claymation, which was this to Aardman for Watson Growett and its spin-off Shaun the Sheep. Speaking of this, he invested in a creation of DTS, which specializes in digital surround sound-breaking formats. But the film got backed by an extensive $65 million marketing campaign, which took some licensing deals for over 10 companies. When the film came out on Friday, June 9th, 1993 in the Uptown Theatre in Washington, D.C., it was released to positive reviews on a box office success of $1,046 million on a budget of $63 million. Even though it had received universal acclaim for setting up the entire movie, it was culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant that it was placed in the National Film Registry. Thanks to the Library of Congress, according to the US National Film Registry, there are some interesting concepts of what this movie was like. Even though the names of these children, being Lex and Ray, have also invited Robert and Giuliano, as well as the Lewis and Harding, and a volunteer boy, Mr. DNA, to be involved, there are a few reasons why this movie is quite educational. I usually describe it as Westworld but for dinosaurs. For some reason, that this wildlife park is actually a governmental covered up front for the dinosaurs to roam around, within its astoundingly amazing soundtrack, which is quite awesome. It took like an adventure that was only like 65 million years in the making. But thanks to my charging, despite the showcase of this movie, there are some bad qualities in this movie. Like, did you know that the main villain, the starter villain, Des Nedry, who shows up in this movie, was responsible for causing the chaos by letting his T-Rex go after Alan and Ellie. Since then, they were frightened on that one fateful night. His T-Rex would roam around to get every type of dinosaur killed. Well, as well as unleashing the moment that one of the dinosaurs was a acid-spitting raptor. Well, speaking of acid-spitting raptor, the name of that acid-spitting raptor is actually an acid-spitting dinosaur called Dilophosaurus. The reason why the Dilophosaurus is a creature like no other is the only velociraptor to shoot acid like a dragon that shoots fire. Despite this, from its bad qualities, the scene where Dennis Nedry gets killed by the Dilophosaurus with acid is quite disturbing that they killed him off screen. I mean, they just killed him off screen. For some reason, in that said Lego ending, the Lego's take on Jurassic Park in that scene leaves out that scene in favour of Dennis Nedry running away from his Jeep, which serves as an alternate ending to this movie. Well, despite this idea, I know that Dennis Nedry is a loathsome character to be around, because we may know that Wayne Knight was responsible for portraying this character, would later go on to appear in Space Jam and Toy Story 2. Well, that's kind of hilarious for a kids' movie. But the name Jurassic Park, however, would also be the name for a basketball team titled Toronto Raptors. For some reason, this name sounded very familiar to its foreshadowing of what would happen. Yeah, of course Drake is a fan of that team, and I'm also a huge fan of that team. Well, I could be a fan of that. It was also referenced in an episode of Total Drama, in what I understood that one of its characters being DJ, Neo from Total Drama himself, the one who is cursed into killing animals, is basically what I understood about this movie. I understood why this is quite an interesting sense of an Easter egg of what we could finally get in this movie. Even though it's an educational movie, this movie got referenced in Total Drama. So, I just checked out that DJ is a fan of the Toronto Raptors, meaning that I understood why this concept looks pretty useful. So, let me guess. I had realised that the rapper that I loved, Drake, is a global ambassador to the Toronto Raptors. I feel a bit amazing that they added DJ Kirk St. Cyr as well as Blur. Because I know I'd be diehard to understand why I like this team. Yeah. I understood. Oh, let's not forget the Easter egg I'm going to give the ranking. So, I might give this... There you go. I just give Jurassic Park just a solidly decent 7.7 out of 10. Although the film is fun, the entire film would have to jump the shark with a Dilophosaurus. That's all I can say about this movie.